Welcome to the programme. This week we're going crazy on security, so we're going to have tips on keeping your bike safe and why you should. We'll look at some of the best safety kit on the market to keep you safe and intact, and the importance of servicing your helmet regularly. And did you know that scooters are about the most nicked thing on the road? Well, we'll be looking at two certainly desirable little numbers. Yeah, that's better. But first, one bike is stolen every 18 minutes in the UK. That adds up to 29,000 in any year. Take this. Well, don't take it, obviously. The R6. It was the best-selling bike in 2000, but not everybody has been paying for them. And therein lies the problem, because any bike is worth twice as much stripped down and sold for parts as it is in one piece. With one bike being stolen every 18 minutes, that works out at 29,000 every year. 60% of bike thefts in the last year have been of modern scooters. It takes on average 20 seconds to steal a bike. Scooters take even less time, which is probably why they make up the majority of thefts. Over the last 3 years, 72,000 bikes have disappeared without trace. 11,000 of those were superbikes, with a combined value of over £40 million. And so back to our R6. Well, like a lot of owners, the owner of this particular one has decided to add his own few touches. So it's got a smart extra can on the back, it's got a grab rail, he's added mushrooms and a smart visor at the front. But those aren't the only parts of this bike that are going to catch the eye of potential crooks, because every single little bit of it is worth money on the black market. Now, I know you don't want to hear this, and you already know it, but it's worth reiterating the point. Number one, if you're offered cheap parts in the pub, don't buy them, because next time they could be ripped off your bike. And secondly, there is stuff that we can do. Later on in the programme we'll cover the various ways you can chain your bike down, but there's a lot you can do to the actual bike itself, and a quick reminder of those are alpha dots. Cost you about 35 quid. He's had them added onto this. They're all over the place. You can find the odd one. You would never get rid of all of those on this bike. They contain a unique code. If it's stolen and subsequently found, it can be identified as yours. A similar system, of course, data tagging, from about 65 to about 90 quid. There are marks etched all over this bike, again a unique code, and transponders hidden in the seat, hidden in the tank, hidden inside the frame members where you'd have to cut the frame up to get them out. It goes further with systems like Tracker, where you're alerted if your bike is moving and you don't happen to be on it. All of which could be seen as an option and a very good idea, but not necessarily just an option, because insurance companies, it seems, are now saying not only will they not necessarily give you a discount for doing this, if you don't do this to your bike, they won't insure you. One way or another, we'll have to make these things safe. As we're looking at all things safety and security on the programme this week, we thought it a good moment to look at body armour. And as an example here, we have three very different jackets to show that you can't always tell whether there's going to be armour there or not. Ben, what have you got?
I've got a Rocker textile jacket, and believe it or not, it is fully armoured. Elbows, shoulders, back protector built in.
So a waterproof jacket with armour. This, as you'd expect, has got armour in, leather jacket, kind of a sporty thing all over the place. But Fran's little number here
hasn't got anything. I haven't got one piece of armour in here. It's very tight, so I couldn't get anything in anyway.
No comment. Just goes to show you can never really tell. But even if you do get armour, you can't always tell, can you?
No, I mean, the thing to really know about armour is a lot of people can describe things as armour. In fact, all they are is really comfort foam. This is a piece of shoulder comfort foam, we should describe it as. Looks like a piece of armour. You can see it's shaped, it's been stitched. However, it's got the crucial thing is not CE approved, and as such you can't call it CE armour, and it hasn't got any of the properties that you would expect from a CE approved armour.
So that's just going to keep you comfy, really?
Basically, yeah, it's going to give you nice broad shoulders, you'll look good going down the street.
That's about it.
But it won't help you.
Alright, what's the next stage up from there?
Well, just an example, this is an early piece of armour several years ago. Quite basic, only really moves in one direction, one plane, and as you can see, slightly hard on the edges, not very comfortable, but it is CE approved. So it would do a job, but not perhaps the best job.
Okay.
Nowadays, we're moving on to more complicated shapes. This is a fairly three-dimensional piece of, it's a combination rubber plastic armour. It will absorb. This is CE approved, as you can see. It's got the all crucial CE stamp there.
And it moves, because I guess, I don't know if you've ever worn a jacket with bad fitting armour?
Yes.
It's not nice,
No,
is
it's
it?
horrendous.
No, so that's
very
quite important.
uncomfortable.
How can you find out? Because nobody's going to complain if, when you're buying a jacket, you whip the armour out and have a look, are they?
No, I mean, I always recommend that you ask it, wherever you are, what shop is, can you see the armour, and is it CE approved? Because what you'll also find is quite often, Shoulders and elbows may be CE approved armour, but there's just a little bit of comfort foam as a back protector, and that's not going to do much for your back.
What is this stuff? Because I've seen it before and it looks like it's just a bit of foam. It doesn't look like it's anything more than this stuff.
No, but this is, again, it's got the CE stamp, all important. It's very flexible. It's essentially a honeycomb structure. This is a piece of the elbow armour that's been cut up. And it has all these tiny little pockets surrounded by a soft foam that gives you more comfort, and it's been squeezed, as you can see there, to give you the flexibility in both directions. So it'll curve around the shape of your limb.
That's very flexible,
Very
actually.
nice, it's very flexible indeed. Okay, so that's actually much sturdier than it looks, but there is a good point here, and you were chatting to us before about, just like your crash helmet, once you've used it once, you've got to think really carefully before you use it again.
Absolutely. I mean, if you just slip over, going out of the door, it probably isn't terminally damaged. However, if you have a big fall and say with a heavy point impact, you land hard like that, what will happen is, I can show you here,
You've actually
you squeeze
the
it,
structure
see how it's squeezed? And a very heavy impact will do that, and that now, you can squeeze it, thumb and forefinger.
Yeah,
it's done its job. So if you do have a big accident, think about your armour. Your jacket may look okay, maybe, particularly if it's a leather, it may be slightly scuffed, you think it's fine. Do think seriously about replacing the armour. It's difficult to tell, but squeeze it and you'll always see whether it's given up the ghost.
Then we've got this wibbly wobbly stuff, which is, this is quite new as well, isn't it?
Yeah, this is really a sort of patent design for the people that make it. The advantages you've got of it, it's breathable. One of the problems you've got with any of these types of armour is air can't get through. On a hot summer's day, you are going to get sweaty behind that. This does work. And if you'll, Fran will show you.
Show your test?
I was just about to ask you, apparently you've got a little demonstration that you can do.
Yes, right. Now this
Stand
is
well
stand
clear,
back.
please.
So if I do that hurts.
It was actually quite painful though.
That really hurts.
It actually did, didn't it?
But if I protect it with my
Yeah.
armour. Now that doesn't actually.
You're not going to run over there and cry, are you?
No.
Huh.
That's actually, it's good. I mean, yeah, you know, I mean, I'm a girl, so I
quite
mean,
red,
obviously. No, but that's
It's quite
from the
painful.
previous
Oh,
one.
right,
It
okay.
actually does protect.
It just goes to show. And finally, back armour, because I mean, you can buy obviously the armour that's in your jacket, but you can go a little bit further.
Yeah, I mean that's a typical sort of fitted back protector. You can just see the lines where it's flexible.
Yeah.
And that will fit actually into the fabric of your jacket, and it'll do a pretty good job. But obviously, relative to the size of your back, it's only covering the key areas of your spine, just either side. You can go for something a little bit special, which I think we've already tested.
I think we have something there.
We have here a stowaway back protector with a combined kidney belt. So it holds your kidneys in. It's great holding your stomach.
What's
in
holds
as
your
well.
beer gut in, which is a big
As you can see from the back, it's covering a lot more of
Very
your back,
slinky.
right down from your backside upwards. If you're
And is
sliding
it
down-
flexible?
It's very flexible.
more flexible than me, in fact.
That's wonderful.
And
Well, I have one
similar
of
thing.
those, so here you can see the same sort of effect going on, and nicely protected there.
That's also got the added benefit. You've got the little crotch straps there, stop it riding
And
up
you've
if you're
got
sliding
the
down the road.
breathable.
And you've got the breathable one.
Yeah, you've got
Fran,
a
what have
breathable.
you,
You can forget it.
Well, we had to do it. At some point in the series, we had to look at security. Now, okay, it might not be the most exciting thing on paper, but it could be the difference between having your bike and waking up to find that awful bike-shaped space in your garage. Not a nice moment. Ben, how have things moved on then, lock-wise? I know we've got basically three sort of, you've got like your disc lock and then your bigger stuff, and then your even bigger stuff.
Things such as locks, chains,
Just
disc
the
locks.
physical stuff
A physical
that does the job.
deterrent to the
Okay.
somebody stealing the bike.
These disc locks then, have you said, from 5 to 50 odd quid, you get what you pay for, presumably the more expensive the better they're going to be, as a rough guide, yeah?
Yeah.
Chains. Time was when it was just a length of ordinary chain, but I mean, it's not now, there's some serious stuff.
A recent one, say, there's this chain, it's actually got a built-in lock. Now this is Thatcham approved as a Category 3 item. It's got a protective chain cover around the outside, nylon, but it also has the other advantage when you take it out of its packaging, it folds up quite small, just small enough to fit under the seat of most motorcycles. So it's something you don't have to wear like a medallion man going down the road.
It doesn't look like a good idea to me.
Yep.
Day-to-day basis, great. Then we move through, you've got some lighter stuff still, which is more the scootery type.
Yeah, a scooter lock. We've got what they call a flexi cable with an integral lock. That's £30.
Do all these integral locks work? Are they as secure as an old-fashioned padlock through chain?
Yes, they are. I mean, a lot of it depends on the actual the tumbler system inside. But again, a lot of it is deterrent. If you have a good-looking lock on your bike, hopefully the thief is going to think, well, that guy's investing in protection. I'll go somewhere else.
The one that hasn't.
Yeah.
Okay, then we move down to these seriously heavy bits of kit on the floor, like the one I had at the start, which is something for anchoring ships, I think. What's this then?
Well, it's basically a cord link. It's got a separate padlock, very heavy duty square shaped chain. What some of the advantages you've got this two-tier padlock system, makes it very difficult to get any cutters into the actual pin.
You just couldn't get in there.
You might be able to get a hacksaw, but if you tie the chain tightly, it's going to be hard to get to that.
And presumably with a hacksaw you're going to be weeks getting through the thing.
And a nice thing, the padlock's protected with rubber, so if you're storing it under your bike or having to carry it in your rucksack, it doesn't hurt as much. And again, you've got the protective sleeve to protect your wheels.
What's the essential difference between that square and the round profile on these? Does it make a difference in terms of security?
This all comes back to our old friend Thatcham.
Yeah.
This has got the approval of Thatcham. It's a Category 3 lock, so you will get a discount varying from 3 up to 5, maybe up to 10%, depending on what other precautions you take on your actual insurance quote.
All right, so you've got your chain, and you need something to anchor it to. You can't always tie it to a railing, and when you get home, that's where these come in. The time standing over, and they are knocked over. They are ground locks. Yeah, these are
ground anchors, we call them. Starting on a sort of a scooterish type but ground anchor, we've got this. It's 1999. It's heavy-duty steel plates, welded, 4 fixings,
bolted to the floor.
Bolted into the floor. It's a pretty good deterrent. However, if I had my real pride and joy, I'd be looking for something a little bit stronger.
Right, we'll take us further up market. Seriously heavyweight. What's that? Right,
this is a super duper heavyweight ground anchor, $79.99.
This one's over earlier on.
Other way up,
actually. Like that.
This one's quite neat. Say you've got a restricted space in your garage. You don't want to be stubbing your toe. It just pops down like that. But this isn't something you're probably going to have to get a builder or your local handyman to install.
That's fairly involved.
It fits flush with the ground. When you want to lock it, you pull it out, pass the chain through. When you get away, drop it down like that.
All in all, these things can never guarantee, but they're going to make things an awful lot simpler.
No, I mean the other thing to look at is making your garage more secure. Have you got decent locks? The average up and over garage door lock is really quite poor. You can push it through with one of your mates. Think about investing in a decent quality lock to go onto the doors, bolt them solid, stop the people getting in to even getting to your bike.
So as we said, it may not be the most exciting part of biking in the world. You know, it's not all nice coloured leathers or things to make your bike go faster, but your bike might still be there, which is good news.
That is all important.
So, thank you. Your lid. No matter how long you spend deciding which pretty pattern you want, it's there to do an important job, but it turns out that there's a lot more we could do to help our crash helmets protect us, and that's true, isn't it? Not just buying it, Ben, but looking after the thing.
Absolutely. I mean, your helmet is probably the most important item of safety equipment. It's the only one you're obliged to wear by law, and quite often it's the one that's the most neglected. You clean your bike, you clean your kit, you dry your leathers, but do you actually give your helmet a good service from time to time? Have a good look at it and check it over.
I've brought my own scruffed up, rather filthy lid. I've ridden about 200 miles of this thing on today already, and it's got to do the same again. What would you do to that then that I wouldn't ordinarily do?
Well, first of all, just have a general look over the helmet. I mean, I can see you've done a couple of 100 miles on it. Check it for nicks, scratches, chips. You may have hit a heavy stone. Just check general damage. I mean, if you look there, obviously that one's a little bit beyond repair.
Yeah,
but you're looking
I mean, this
for
is to show the way
damage.
it gets all cracked and ruined under the surface, and obviously we all know if you drop your helmet, if you knock it, if you do have a spill and knock it on the road, replace it, because it's not worth it, is it?
Yep.
Right.
Secondly, the most important thing is obviously the visor. With this helmet, it's got a patent quick release system. You put your finger on the little lever there, and just pull it out like that.
But even if it's not quick release on yours,
there will always be a way.
The thing off somehow.
Yeah. Removing the helmet is trying to get it off.
eventually it'll come off. Not that
There we go, like that. They're sometimes a little bit tight. You want to be able to see where you're going. So just starting the helmet first, let's clean the visor. There's all sorts of visor cleaners, but basically there's no substitute for just warm water and a nice clean cloth.
As I was going to say, look, you could spend a fortune, I'm sure, on fancy bottles and stuff, but it's just getting the muck off it, isn't it? Really?
It is, but it's very important you don't use proprietary brands, household glass cleaners, because all too often they have a heavy solvent content. These polycarbonate visors, if you get solvent on them, it actually hardens them up, and when you really need it to protect you from a stone, they've actually gone so hard they'll shatter.
And importantly, if that solvent then gets inside your crash helmet, it's going to melt all the foam away, and really you might as well not wear the thing.
Yep, the same thing with using polishers. We'll polish yours in a minute, but one should always use a recommended polish such as this one. It's got a high wax content, so it's going to look good, it's going to be very shiny. Same with that, but it's got no solvent in it.
Right, get on with cleaning it. I want a nice clean lid to go home with. Bit of a squirt of that. Obviously, while you're doing this, you do want to be scratching it, so presumably nice soft cloth.
Nice clean fresh cloth, special visor cloth.
And this is going to go somewhere as well, I suppose. Once it's cleaner, it won't collect as much muck either, will it? It makes a difference.
Absolutely. It's, in particular on a bright sunny day, just finger marks can make a big difference to your vision. Clean that. When you clean them, always make sure you clean the. You don't just clean the vision area. Make sure you clean the ends, and always do that laterally. So if there's a little bit of grub, it doesn't go onto your visor. We've got now a nice clean visor.
Very nice. That'll do me. Thank you.
If you're keen, you could also use anti-fog to stop it misting up.
Oh yes. Okay.
Visor done.
Now the main bulk of the job.
Yep. Now on this helmet, it's got the advantage. It's actually got a removable interior, so we can actually take some bits out, feed them out.
Don't break my crash helmet, Ben. Right, okay.
It will, it'll go back.
Obviously, it is quite handy if the interior will come out, but again, it's not disastrous in terms of cleaning it, is it? Because
no,
you can do.
At the end of the day, helmets are designed to be waterproof. So if your helmet doesn't have a removable interior, you can always just take it, put it under the shower head in the bath, a little bit of soft shampoo, baby shampoo, something like that, and you can actually just wash it with that and clean it. Put it on top of the boiler. Don't expose it to extreme heat, like putting it in front of the fire or hairdryer, and just let it dry gently.
To freshen it up a bit.
So we can see on here now, we've stripped your helmet down pretty much to the basics. You've got all the protective interior. Just check it. Is it all in good condition? Yes, it is. Check your straps, check your rivets, and you can see in there where the rivets, these are very important because obviously they fix the strap, and that's if your helmet comes off, you're absolutely in trouble.
And it's always worth giving it a good check over while you've got it apart.
Yep.
All right, well, I'm going to give you about 10 seconds to completely finish the job. Nice job, Ben, thank you. Not only is it nice and clean and shiny, I'm going to be safer because I can see better, and if I do have a spill, we know it's not dented at all. Is there any kind of helmet that you can't sew? Is there any kind of crash helmet that's too tricky? Like this one that's a bit unusual?
Not at all. It is a bit of a wild fighter's mask, that.
Yeah.
No, if in doubt, the only problem you're really ever going to encounter is removing the visor. If you haven't got the original instructions, either check with the shop where you bought it or find a store that sells them and just ask them. It really isn't difficult.
And this one apparently, it's as worn, I'm told, by Lara Croft in the Tomb Raider movie. This goes over her head and it turns into an open face arrangement. It's all an incredible looking thing. Serviceable, no problems with
Absolutely,
it?
straight away you can see quick release visor system.
Oh, right.
Take the visor off.
So you can't be defeated?
Nope.
All right then. What about this one? Oh, Fran, your skin's looking a bit rough these days, you know. Not looking too good at all. Serviceable? Some of the best things about scooters are that they're small, nimble and actually quite stylish, particularly around town.
But one of the best things is they can be really cheap to run, and this week we're looking at two budget scooters from Peugeot and Italjet. Now, just because they're cheap doesn't mean they're not fun.
So let's see how they fare out on the track.